I've always been a dog person. There's something about the loyalty and companionship of a furry friend that warms my heart. My 2 Labrador retrievers, Max and Bella, have been with me through thick and thin. But lately, something strange has been happening that's been keeping me up at night. It all started a few weeks ago. Max and Bella began acting oddly, staring at corners of the room for extended periods, as if they were fixated on something invisible. Their heads would tilt, ears perked up, and they'd growl softly, the hair on their backs standing on end. I tried to chalk it up to a bug or a flicker of light casting shadows, but there was something in their behavior that set me on edge. One night, as I lay in bed, I heard Max's low growl from the hallway. I groaned and got up, thinking he might be hungry or in need of a bathroom break. But when I reached the hallway, he was frozen in place, eyes locked onto the empty air above the stairs. His growl escalated into a deep, menacing snarl, and his teeth were bared. "Bella, what's going on?" I called, hoping she'd come over and snap him out of it. But to my surprise, she joined him, her posture mirroring his as they continued to fixate on the empty space. I waved my hand in front of their faces, trying to break their trance, but it was as if I didn't exist. I followed their line of sight, my heart racing. But there was nothing there, just the vacant air of the hallway. A chill ran down my spine, and I shivered despite the warm temperature. "Enough of this," I said, voice shaky, as I picked up Bella and Max, one in each arm. They struggled against my grasp, snarling and barking as if they were trying to warn me of some unseen danger. I placed them back in my bedroom and closed the door, hoping that separating them from whatever had caught their attention would calm them down. But even as I lay in bed, their frenzied barks echoed in my mind, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The days that followed were tense. Max and Bella's behavior grew more erratic. They'd often refuse to enter certain rooms, cowering and whimpering at the doorways. There were nights when I'd wake up to find them both staring at the window, eyes wide with terror, as if something outside was trying to get in. I called in a dog behaviorist, hoping to get to the bottom of their strange behavior. She spent hours observing them, asking me questions about recent changes in the house or their routines. But no matter what she tried, Max and Bella remained fixated on whatever invisible horror plagued them. One evening, as I was preparing their dinner, I heard a scratching sound at the front door. Max and Bella's heads snapped towards the noise, and their growls filled the room. My heart pounding, I approached the door cautiously, my hand on the doorknob. As I swung the door open, Max and Bella lunged forward, barking frantically at thin air. But this time I saw it too. A flicker of darkness, like a shadow moving just beyond the threshold. My breath caught in my throat and I stumbled back, pulling Max and Bella with me. The shadow retreated, and the air felt heavy with malevolence. I slammed the door shut and locked it, my mind racing. The behaviorist's words echoed in my head. Dogs have an uncanny ability to sense things beyond our perception. Their heightened senses allow them to pick up on changes in the environment that we can't even fathom. That night, I couldn't sleep. Max and Bella lay beside me, restless and alert. I stared at the ceiling, my thoughts consumed by the shadow at the door. What was it? What did it want? And why were my dogs the only ones who could see it? As the days turned into weeks, I became obsessed with unraveling the mystery. I scoured the internet for any information on supernatural phenomena and consulted mediums and psychics, desperate for answers. But every clue led to more questions, and the terror that had taken hold of my home only deepened. One night, as I sat in the living room with Max and Bella, their attention shifted to the corner of the room. The air grew cold, and I felt a presence, a malevolent energy that sent shivers down my spine. I stared into the darkness, heart pounding, and then I saw it, a pair of red, glowing eyes. I knew then that I was facing something beyond my comprehension, something that had latched onto my home, feeding off the fear it induced in Max and Bella. With a newfound determination, I reached out to a local paranormal investigator, hoping they could provide some answers. The investigator spent hours conducting an elaborate ritual, and the atmosphere grew tense as they chanted incantations and sprinkled salt around the house. Max and Bella remained agitated, but as the ritual progressed, their growls turned to whimpers and they huddled close to me. Finally, the investigator declared that the entity had been banished, its malevolent energy expelled from the house. The weight in the air lifted and the room seemed brighter somehow. Max and Bella relaxed, their bodies no longer tense with fear. In the days that followed, their behavior returned to normal. They no longer fixated on invisible threats, and their playful spirits returned. As I watched them chase each other around the backyard, I couldn't help but feel grateful for the loyalty and intuition of my furry friends. They had protected me from a horror I couldn't even see, and in doing so, they had shown me a world beyond our understanding, one where the line between the real and the supernatural is far more blurred than we could ever imagine.